Hello, and welcome back to the dining room. Wait, don't panic. It's not what you think. I did not buy another lens yet. So for the last couple of months, I've been acquiring the things I need to make the ultimate vlogging machine. So that when I go to Texas in June, I can maybe do a little vlogging, take you on a tour of Buc-ee's, the greatest roadside attraction, that ever came out of Texas. Maybe we'll go to a Whataburger. Who knows where we'll go? But so I've been building up towards the vlogging thing. And so you've seen me over the months buy two cameras. The ZV-E10 actually I've had for a while. But I bought the A7C and many lenses, which is why I told you not to panic at the beginning, because you figured it was going to be another lens. And right now, by the way, you're looking at me on the A7C through the Sony 20mm f1.8 lens. Over here on the ZV-E10, we've got the Tamron 11-20. By the way, right now it's set at 14. So we're at 14mm, which of course is 21mm 35 frame. So basically, they're basically about the same. So 20, 21. And then of course overhead, we have the ZV-1. Oh, and we need an overhead camera because the one downside of all this vlogging, and you've seen me do vlogging tests and carry the camera around, is the Crane M3 gimbal, which I only ever used for the first vlogging test with the A7C and the 20mm, this lens, this set up right in front of me. I put on the gimbal and carried around. But from that point forward, in that video, I then tried it with the what Sony calls their shooting grip, their little selfie stick thing, and with Catalyst Browse, and you really couldn't tell the difference. I mean, and the Catalyst, and this was so much lighter. But, and here's a big but, this guy, this shooting grip, well, this is what it looks like when it's sitting on the table, and it's not very tall. In fact, I commented on one of the videos. I said, I wish this was up here, like this camera, but it's not. Well, why is this? Okay, well, first, it's got little legs, as you can see, but then fold in and make it what they call the shooting grip. And it has a button here where you can tilt it forward and back. And there's also a button where you can swing, turn, so you can like turn it away from you. And by the way, I believe in every vlogging video I've done, I have done this where I've turned it away from me and then turned it back towards me. And that's where y'all got to enjoy the rolling shutter in many of my cameras. I think all of my cameras have rolling shutter. It's a Sony thing. By the way, the more expensive ones don't, but, cheap. Anyway, now, the coolest thing about this little shooting grip, it has buttons. It's also a Bluetooth remote, which, by the way, because it's a Bluetooth remote, it means it doesn't actually have to be physically connected. It can be off somewhere. Why would I need a record button on the grip here that I can hit with my thumb when I can just reach up here with my other finger and hit the one on top of the camera? And why do I need the photo button when the shutter button is like inches from me? The only real thing this thing has that would be of some use is the zoom, except looky here. This is not a power zoom lens, so pressing this button doesn't do anything. It's really not that useful. I'll tell you, by the way, when the time that this little shooting grip was the most useful was in my air fryer video where I had the camera up on top of the shelves. So it was hard to reach, but I could zoom and do everything and start recording, stop recording with these buttons because Bluetooth would reach that far. I don't use the buttons, so it's really not that useful a tool for me. And again, when I set it down on the table like so, it's a little low. I'm looking down. If I didn't have the lovely beard, you would be seeing all my double chins. Well, so what's a vlogger to do? Well, fortunately, I have a fairly good memory, and I was thinking back to when I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel. So this was back at beginning of 2020. I was watching a bunch of videos, and there's a channel called Think Media, which I will link to down. In fact, I'll link to the specific video that I'm talking about on the Think Media channel. And I remember they did a video about must-have accessories if you're going to be a vlogger. Now remember, when I was starting out, I wasn't going to be a vlogger, so I just kind of went over. But I remembered. So I went back, found that video, and watched it, and went, oh, yeah. Because what they talk about in that video is this. The Switchpod, which is like a vlogging selfie stick and tripod in one. Kind of like my little shooting grip is allegedly, but of course it's so low it's not really useful. One of the things I love about this is that they have this little fold is magnetic. By the way, this is how it came from Amazon. It was just shrink wrapped. It had plastic shrink wrap over it, and then the shipping label was just. So I mean, it's very ecologically sound. If you get it through Amazon. And by the way, when you get it through Amazon, you're buying it from Switchpod. It's just being fulfilled by Amazon. But it's just well, here, let me show you. So if we open this up. Made by creators for creators. Yeah, that's the thing. If you go look for videos on the Switchpod, you will find a whole bunch. A couple of guys who were vloggers, they were YouTube creators. They were looking for the ultimate selfie stick tripod combo thing and had not found it. The Joby bendy thing, which I've never had, but apparently that's what that's what Casey Neistat uses. That's what everybody was using. But they came up with this. Now let me show you this. By the way, if you're thinking about starting your own company and making your own products, let me recommend you look at this. There's some Switchpod videos that they made about the lessons they learned from manufacturing and prototyping and everything when making this product. But it's aluminum. It's all aluminum. There's little rubber feet on the bottom so that when you use it as a tripod, it's got these little cutouts here so it makes it easy to grip. These cutouts, by the way, are to make it lighter, to not be solid metal. But then they put in some 1/4-inch drill screw holes here so you can mount things on it. And well, here, just let me show you. So here it is, like as you would be using it with a camera on top pointed at you, you'd walk around like this, right? And then when you're done, you want to set it down. Apparently you get better at that with time. I'm not good at it. But you just flick it out, and now you have a tripod. Amazing, right? Well, here, let me demonstrate it by, let me take the little ZV-E10 who's sitting here with the Tamron 11-20 lens on it. It's sitting at 14 right now, which, by the way, is about 21 full frame. And this is 20, so they're about the same, but this one's slightly closer. But then you just line this up with the little thread on the bottom, and then you turn. By the way, this knob I'm turning here may look plastic. It's aluminum. This whole thing is aluminum. The Switchpod is like 100%. Well, I'm sure there's a little rubber pad up here, but it's complete. It's aluminum. So you turn this little thing and tighten it up. Okay, and now, so you want it facing the legs, so that. Now look at this. Now remember this is on 14, which is a 21 millimeter 35. And look, and by the way, look, my arm is braced against my side here. And now come look here. Look how, and this is at 14. Here, let me take it to 11, because this one goes to 11. And you can see, look at this. I mean, I can pull my arm all the way. I mean, look at, it's amazing, right? Oh, and let me tell you, this is a fairly heavy lens, and the camera weighs like. I went through this like a couple of videos ago. I had to put it up on the screen because I don't remember how much it weighs. 300 something grams, and then this is like, so but we're probably, I'll put on screen how much weight we're talking about here. But I feel virtually none of it. It's like, because your wrist is straight, you can hold a lot of weight. In fact, if you go look at the video, a lot of people are carrying around like Sony A1, giant cameras with, in fact, there's one video where a guy has a cinema lens on his camera. And the Sony cinema lenses are like gigantic, and they're not weighed in grams, they're weighed in pounds. And he was hauling one of those around. I don't think I could do that. So now, remember, we just flipped our legs out. Boom. Let me go back down to 14. And it's much higher, so I'm still looking down at it. And what if you had to set it down on uneven terrain? So, the front leg was higher or the back legs were higher. Well, it's not, the camera's flat. Well, people complained about this. And by the way, from the very beginning, I believe it even says here on the packaging, and this is still the original packaging. They have not redesigned the packaging. Yeah, it says quickly attach any camera or ball head adapter. So yeah, they knew people would want to put ball heads on here. But after a while, they said, well, wait, why should other people be making all the money off the ball heads when we could make a ball head? So this is the Switchpod brand ball head, or rotule ball, if you're speaking French. Again, little magnetic flap. I love the little magnetic flaps. And here is the Switchpod ball head. By the way, look down in there. Laser cut. I mean, these people, they know their marketing starts with great packaging, and they do great packaging. I don't care for the yellow, but that's their signature color, so they're all yellow, so certainly stands out. Well, now let's put this on to our little ZV-E10 here. Well, first we have to take the ZV-E10 off of the Switchpod. Many hours later. There we go. The thing to do, if you put this on here first, you use the little screw thing, but then you're going to have to spin the camera. So what you do is you put the ball head onto the camera first, and then you can spin the ball head. And when you got it where you want it, presto. Now look, it's still lower than the A7C, but it's much, much closer to the same height. But wait, I'm not level, so I can turn this knob and then fool around with it a little and then tighten it back up. I'm still not level. Anyway, you get the idea. So pretty cool. And so now, again, if you're on uneven terrain, you can tilt and do all the things. So this is a big improvement. But I was thinking ahead when I ordered this, because I was looking at pictures of this thing on the ball head. Oh, let me show you something. This is the Sirui. It's aluminum little tripod that I bought, by the way, back when I was shooting on GoPros and DJI Osmo Actions and those kind of cameras. And it was a great little tripod and a little selfie stick for carrying around. But now I'm getting into these much heavier cameras. Now, sitting on the table, it's doing fine. Oh, but notice that I'm no longer using a tripod on the far side of the table like I used to. Now that I have these lenses that are wider angle that I could move in, see, I've moved it in onto the table, which means I can bring in the K&F tripod so that I can put this directly overhead. Whereas before, when I had the main camera on the far side of the table, I had to have the K&F tripod on the far side of the table, which meant I was shooting at like a 45-degree angle. And you can go back and watch some of the videos where I'm doing that. But now, see, I can put it directly overhead and it's a straight down. So it works out better for everyone. And then, like when I've been doing these videos, I can just drop this guy down. Boom. And I have the multiple angles. You'll notice that the Sirui is slightly taller, which I think you can tell because, look, see, yeah, here my eyes are up here, but yeah, see, it's slightly taller. So, but I thought ahead. And I said, well, wait. I will get a taller ball head, the Manbily. And one of the reasons I like the Manbily, well, I'll show you. Well, it's taller. That's the main reason I wanted it, because the Switchpod ball head with all the way to the top, tip from bottom to top, is about, see, that high. So this one is almost an inch taller, which I believe is going to solve this little problem here. The other reason I like this is it comes with a plate, quick release plate, so you can, so you can screw them on, and a bubble level. Not only a bubble level on the front, but a bubble level on the back. So like if you're doing a 90-degree thing, pointing down, you can still level using the bubble level. So all in all, it's a pretty nice little ball head. Oh, and it's got the little thing here you can turn, so you can do. See, you got degree markers on the bottom, so you can do your panning, and then you can tighten it up so that won't turn. This is the knob, and it has the 90-degree cutout, so you can go straight down. So by the way, it's a little pricey. You can look down below. It's a more expensive ball head than the Switchpod, but I believe ultimately more useful. Wait, it comes with more stuff too. It comes with a little phone holder. So if you want to use this, with a phone, with a smartphone, which a lot of people do. By the way, you can use the Switchpod with a phone. The thing is, it's kind of overkill using the Switchpod with a phone, since the whole point of the Switchpod is it will hold, I believe, something on the order of 50 to 75 pounds. You can stack on it and it will not collapse. And even if you always have the main leg sticking out in front of the lens, so it won't fall over that way, it'll take a lot of weight that way too. But wait, there's more. What's in this little bag? Look, they throw in a second plate. Now this is the more expensive. The Manbily has two. This is the B-20. They have another one, which I will link down below, which is cheaper. But it doesn't have all the stuff. No, the level, it doesn't have the extra thing. Now the other thing with the Manbily though, and this is important, it comes with these little adapters, because this is not a 1/4-inch screw like on the Switchpod. This is like a 3/8. But they include two of them, by the way. Manbily includes two of these adapters. So you just screw that in. And now let me switch this. Now again, take off the ball head first by turning the little screw at the bottom of the Switchpod. Again, I can't believe that this little knob down here is aluminum. I mean, this is really well made. Okay, now that we've got that off, we'll put on the switch plate. Probably be a lot easier to put this on without the camera involved. So now we want to put the camera on the way that the Manbily logo faces. Now, looky here. They're basically the same height. Actually, I believe I'd have to get a ruler out. Yeah, I don't think I have to get a ruler out. With the Manbily, this one, ball head, this one, the Switchpod is very slightly taller, which means now I'm looking straight into the lens and I'm not looking down anymore. And again, I'm on 14 over here, millimeters, well, 21. I'm very pleased with this, especially with the Manbily. Now I showed you, see, I've got the Sirui over there holding up that camera, but again, as these cameras get heavier, so I've already decided I'm going to order another Switchpod, and I'm going to replace the Sirui with a Switchpod as well, which means basically if I'm sitting in here in the dining room with two cameras, they'll both be on Switchpods. I could pick up either one of them and haul off with them and take them for a walk. Which, by the way, we're going to do right now with the, we're going to take the ZV-E10. I'm going to turn it up to 11. And we're going to go for a little walk. But see, before when I would stand up and sit down using the selfie stick as I'd be moving my arm around a lot. And it would be, but it's hard to get that camera that close to my face. So here we'll go through the dining room because the kitchen is dark. Again, I'll be using Catalyst Browse on this footage, so we'll get it nice and see. I'm bending over to open the door, but I'm still not. See, doing the doors, I was getting a lot closer. Now, here's the one thing that I miss about the shooting. What do they call it? The little Sony selfie stick shooting grip is the little button that turns it around. Now, I imagine I could do that with the ball head. Oh, I can do that with the ball head. Right? I just loosen that up. Oh. I just found reason number 3 why I prefer the Manbily is because the Switchpod ball head does not have the panning function. Well, I don't think. I'll go look into it. But see, I can turn this around, and then I can pan back around to me. And then tighten it back up so it doesn't accidentally go sliding all over the place. Yeah. Wait, I didn't come back to even. There. Okay. I am very happy with this purchase. Well, I should be, right? It was vloggers who made a perfect selfie stick for themselves for vlogging. And it really is pretty much perfect. Now I changed hands there, so this way I'm going to try, see this way I can open the door from way over here, so I don't have to lean into the camera. And as we go through the kitchen, I'll turn on some lights so it won't be so dark. And now we are back in the dining room. And here, I won't do it till I'm sitting down here so that the other camera can see it. Let me do my little magic flick. Bada bing. And we can go back down to 14. We don't need to be on 11. We don't need to be on 11 in here. Let me look at this little guy. Yeah, this guy doesn't have the turn, the pan. So, for vlogging, I'm going to use the Manbily, but for basically a fixed tripod, tabletop tripod here in the dining room, I'm going to buy another Switchpod and use the easy for me to say, the Switchpod ball head that I have now that I don't need because I have a ball head on there. I will get another Switchpod and then use this. So, that's what I came here to show you. I'm really happy with it. Again, I don't see why I would have to be happy with it. This was made, again, by creators, for creators. It's just phenomenal. I mean, now I do have it, you can feel the weight. By the way, you can do two-handed. Oh, and I saw one guy, there's one video where a guy he would grab these two legs back here and then brace his arms. So you're doing handheld, but you're not going to get all the little micro jitters because you're braced and you're holding it on, you got 2 points of contact. So I thought that was pretty clever. So there's a lot you can do with this thing. I'm just very, very pleased. For $100. Well, that's just for the Switchpod. But I think it's well worth $100. And even with an expensive ball head, we're talking $150. By the way, this little guy, this is $150. So you can get this for $150, which is a kind of crappy little tripod, decent shooting grip, and pretty decent remote. But this, I'm in love. I am in love with my new Switchpod. By the way, I believe the name Switchpod comes from because it kind of flips open like a switchblade. Or maybe it just comes from being able to switch from tripod. I don't know. Make up your own legend. Although you can also go watch, like I said, go watch their videos where these guys that made this thing, the creators who made this thing, to explain it. And again, I will link specifically to their video, one of their videos where they talk about the lessons they learned making a product and prototyping and doing all the stuff they had to do to bring it to market. So that's it for this week. I'm in love with my new Switchpod. Oh, here, turn it back this way. Am I on 14? Yep. So here, I'll just flip. So they're almost exactly the same distance away. They're just slightly apart like this. And this one's at 14, which is a 21 millimeter full frame, and this is at 20. So pretty cool. That's it. I love my Switchpod. I highly recommend if you're going to do any kind of vlogging, you get a Switchpod. I also recommend if you need a tabletop tripod, you get a Switchpod. But for a little short tripod, it's fantastic. I'm going to be using it as a desktop tripod, and I'm going to be using it like a selfie stick kind of thing, and tripod. So I'm going to be using it in all of its functions. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for coming by. Go buy one of these. Bye-bye.